Hey, you want to see a man get pregnant? I'm sorry, that was a little bit inaccurate. I mean a 13-year-old boy get pregnant? Well, welcome to the TerryByte channel, where quality is a gift, not a given. And daddy's wallet's getting a little bit thin. So no present for you this new 2020.
A while ago, I looked at Round the Twist, arguably the most memorable show to most Aussie kids within the 90s and early 2000s. It was a show that was weird, funny, engaging, silly, and most of all, gross. But not so gross that it put off people, both young and old, off. What I forgot to mention in that video was that these episodes were almost all based off a series of short stories by Paul Jennings, a children's book author for the first 2 seasons.
But this was the first episode of the 3rd season. It wasn't based on any short story, it was just the writers. And the writers came up with male pregnancy.
Now, in a show that included themes and ideas about vomiting, spinning penises, hissing over walls, bestiality and incest, this is the episode that all Australians have in the back of our minds thinking, did we actually watch that? You can find all the episodes of Round the Twist on YouTube right now, and let's look at those views. Very first episode of the series, 200,000. The episode with the peeing over the wall, only 50k. Spinning penises, 75k. And the episode we're looking at, 1.6 million.
Well, goddamn. So if you haven't watched my previous video on Round the Twist, link is up there. I highly recommend you watch it. But if you're lazy, this is Pete, Bronson and Linda, but who cares about that? Roll that intro.
Have you ever felt like this?
We start off with the family and friends preparing a lunch to welcome the dad's new wife into the family.
And if Faye gets a bun in the oven, it'll be a new lease of life for your dad.
Is he hungry or something?
No, if she has a baby, you know. If someone drops a tadpole in her beer.
Now I know that seemed like a bad joke, but it's important. Trust me.
Everything seems to be in order, except Pete isn't around.
Where's Pete?
Where we then cut to Pete being chased by some bullies, while also needing to pee really badly. Man, Pete looks like me after I get blue-balled and on my way home. Pete retreats under a tree where he finally relieves himself and also the world's biggest fart.
I love how they show the piss stream, which is already well implied, but that piss is so yellow. That is a fluorescent, deeply dehydrated, only drinking Monster energy drink sort of pee.
But unfortunately, the bullies find him and all hope is lost. Or as Pete courageously exclaims,
I'm gonna die if my bed's down!
But then, the tree starts talking to him. No big deal. And after he makes a deal with the voice, the tree goes whomping Willow and all the bullies' asses.
River's down! River's down! But I'm up!
These have got to be some of the dumbest bullies I've seen. I love it. Oh, by the way, during this whole ordeal, he's still peeing. I timed it, 1 minute and 29 seconds. After Pete is done, a big 4-headed hippie girl apparates out of nowhere, just like in Newtown, with a big, cute and goofy smile, essentially making Pete putty in her hands.
My name's Ginny Dryad. I'm the spirit of this tree. Would you like to be my boyfriend?
Yes!
Damn, she works fast. At the rate they're going, they'll have disappointing forest sex within the hour. Pete comes back excitedly to explain to the family that he just did a treat.
Met the girl of my dreams!
Whoa, Jesus, that's one hell of a jealous advance. What'd that slut do?
They say if you put a tadpole in someone's beer, it'll make them go pregnant. So I went the whole hog and put in a frog.
That was the payoff. I'm kidding, there's still more.
Later on, Peter's being all cringe about being in love when Tree's spirit decides to have round 2. But then, she drops it.
Now that we're having a baby,
What?
once a man wheeze on the tree and you hold hands and kiss, you can't avoid it.
Well, that's awfully specific.
So now that Pete is pregnant, you know what time it is. Pregnancy jokes.
Morning sickness? Check. Wild mood swings? Check. Food cravings? Check. Arm on back support? Check. Oh, and more Bronson misunderstanding pregnancy jokes.
I was just putting some buns in the oven so you could have a baby.
Funnily enough, the Dryad spirit remains invisible, just to make Pete look extra insane. Oh yeah, you know how the episode is called The Big Burp? Well, this is why.
Just tell them it comes out through your mouth.
Through my mouth? What? I can't have a baby through my mouth!
I mean, through your mouth is better than through your dick, so count your blessings, Pete. Of course, the whole family doesn't believe it until he finally reveals to them he's got a baby bump. And I have to say, for something that isn't biologically possible, they take it quite casually.
Do you reckon I'll still make it onto the footy team?
Later on, when Pete is at school, wait, they send him to school? Well, at least he can't be beat up by the bullies.
Don't hurt me, I'm pregnant!
It's also a little strange how the Dryad can go invisible at will, which leaves the whole "the family don't really believe the girlfriend" thing a bit forced. It may be a very small thing to pick on in a kids show, but it really comes up because not a lot happens in this part. Surprisingly, it's just a bunch of talking, nothing really happens. So on the day of the pregnancy, since it only takes 2 days for the baby to be born, they send Pete to school again. Okay, I know this is semi-rural Australia, but come on. Call a midwife, take him to a hospital, anything!
I'm trying to be supportive, but everyone just ignores me as though I don't exist.
Well, maybe if you weren't invisible all the time, people would acknowledge your existence. And maybe save the trees.
You are the mother of the moment.
And who's the father, Pete?
Well, she's...
The father's a she. Don't worry about the father, that's not important.
What? I'm pretty sure the father is important, especially if it's a she.
The contractions have started.
And now begins the contraction scene, the most famous part of the whole episode, and obviously what it's been building up to.
Hey, Twistoid! Just because you're pregnant, Twist, doesn't mean you can avoid the knuckle burger.
Yeah, it kinda does. What, are you gonna beat up a pregnant 13-year-old boy?
We don't have time for this. He's gonna have a baby any minute now.
Can't you see he's a contractor?
Okay, that was pretty funny. So the bullies help out Pete while he's contracting, while Bronson goes and looks for the tree spirit, which I mean, I don't know how he's really gonna find it, but oh well. I gotta admit, the music really sells the scene. For a kids show aimed at like 15 and under, this is a very well made parody of a hospital drama doing the scene.
I saw this movie where there was a birth scene. What was the movie? I think it was Alien.
Okay, that was pretty funny.
Ginny overhears Bronson talking to Mayor Gribble about how he thinks Ginny should be there, leading to her returning to Pete after what seems like 2 minutes of separation. So they say their sorries before helping Pete burp up the baby. And I gotta say, the acting is really well done here. It really sells the scene. And Pete finally has his tree spirit Dryad baby thing.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What is that? What is that? What is that? Oh, that looks like Carrot Top being bukkake by Shrek. Oh, that is... Oh, dude.
Could be twins.
Excuse... just a bit of afterbirth.
Ah, classic gross out humor, don't ever die. And so the baby was sacrificed to that dying tree to help her come back to life. Well, I mean, that's the only explanation I have to why a baby just disappears into a tree. Mother Nature is cruel, man. What can I say? And now, Bronson's reoccurring joke time. Yay.
I don't know how to tell you this, Faye, but I can't get you pregnant. You're gonna have to do it by yourself. And Dad, you're gonna have to keep yourself alive for as long as you can.
Oh damn, I don't want to be alive for another month. And the episode ends where it starts. With piss.
Bronson, no, don't do it!
Have you ever?
And that, my friends, was the big burp. Wait, was Bronson just gonna piss in front of his family? Was the episode as weird as I remember? I guess it is, but then again, all the episodes are kind of weird and gross. It's only through our adult minds that skew our memories that make it seem a lot worse than it actually was. And don't get me wrong, it's gross and disgusting and probably a lot of networks turned it away. But in its grossness and weirdness, it left an impact. And isn't that what's important? Taking us back to an innocent time where weirdness and disgusting grossness wasn't questioned, and instead we asked the big question in our childlike heads: what is incest? I told you, man, Daddy ain't got nothing left.
Have you ever felt like this? How strange things happen. Are you going round the twist? Well, have you heard
side